Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about this pair of true wireless stereo earbuds, and this is from UGreen, and I'm going to be comparing it against the AirPods Pro from Apple. Now, why would I be comparing this to? Usually, if we are looking at cars, we don't usually compare a Toyota Corolla with a Mercedes E-Class or a C-Class, right? But why are we comparing these two? Because there's actually a decent fair fight here. So to give you guys the summary up front, I will tell you between these two choices that I have in front of me, I will take the UGreen HiTune TWS earbuds. It is that good. Now, a couple of things that I will tell you about why I rate this actually even to be better than the AirPods Pro in quite a few ways, a few meaningful ways, in fact. Stay tuned and I'll tell you a little bit more. But if you're just wanting my very quick opinion on whether I think that this is a fair piece of equipment to stuff in your ears, then I'll say yes, I actually highly recommend them. I did not expect to like these guys. Okay, so let's get to the story of why I was looking out for another pair of all these earbuds, right? So recently I've been going for slightly longer walks in the morning. I just want to keep myself a little bit healthier, get some sun, get some fresh air out. So I've been working from home for quite a couple of weeks now since the semi-lockdown happened again. So I was at first taking the AirPods Pro on the walks along with me. The transparency mode is great because you are still aware of the surrounding. So if a car is approaching or if somebody's honking to get your attention, or there's a bicycle that's coming up from behind you, actually it is helpful because you're still aware of your surrounding. But I did realize that, over time, these AirPods Pro, they are not sticking into my ear and not staying put as well as they used to right at the start when I first got these. Now I got these are day one releases, so it's been quite a while. I can't remember exactly when I got it. I have the Apple extended warranty on them as well, but I think it's a matter of the silicon or it's wear and tear, I don't know, right? But it's not sticking in my ear as well. So the sound, which depends very much on a good seal between these silicone ear tips and your ear in the inner canal, it just simply is not delivering the sound that I wanted it to be, wanted it to deliver, or I thought it should be delivering. So I thought, why not get something else? So I chanced upon these UGreen TWS. This is the UGreen HiTune TWS earbuds. Now, they're really, really cheap. I think if you go on Amazon, which I can leave a link below, it is $36 US dollars. And on top of that, I think as of the moment I checked moments ago, it was still running on a 30% discount coupon. So you can get this at a really, really good price. And effectively, you're going to be getting this TWS earbuds for 1/10 the list price of the Apple Airpods Pro. If you gave me a blind test and assuming that you could put these in my ears and I can't tell whether it is the UGreen or the Apple, I would actually choose the UGreen. The sound is that good. Now I was trying to figure out how do I measure the sound. I couldn't figure a way out. I could use my REW software and mic, but because the output is just so tiny and so small, I can't measure anything meaningful. And it's definitely not accurate. So for this particular video, you've got to just rely and trust my take on the sound of these guys. But before we go on to the sound, let me tell you about the other superpower besides the sound. This guy has super long battery life. I don't know whether I have done a video on the AirPods Pro. No, I don't think I have, or maybe I've done, but I didn't release it. I had problems with this guy for meetings. I love using them for meetings. I pair with my Mac, and the Bluetooth sounds perfect, and the connection was good. The voice came out clear. People could hear me very clearly. But the problem is, if I have a back-to-back call, 2 hours followed by another 2 hours one, I actually won't make it to the next 2 hours. So that's the problem, right? Because without the charging case, which is a wireless charging case, very convenient, you can just put them in and it starts charging the earpiece. But if you have a 2 hours meeting, it goes through the first 2 hours meeting perfectly, no problem. But the moment you go into your next meeting, if it is more than an hour, if it goes on to 2 hours, I actually have a problem because the battery will not last. All right. And with the UGreen, this HiTunes, I tried not to charge it for the whole day. I mean, I don't have 2 hours back to back within the recent week or so, but I didn't charge them. And it went on to the second day without me charging overnight. So I did a quick tally. I had about 7 hours of use on these guys before it finally started giving up the ghost and asking me to recharge this. So I left it out. It went to sleep automatically, and then I put it on again for the next call, and it went on for a total of about 7 hours. Okay, just short of 7 hours. But you know, that's the amazing part. You don't have to charge it. Now, one thing that you can do is that you can also use this as mono. You could put this in one ear, leave the other earpiece in the charging cradle to charge. And when this starts running out of battery, which is like maybe rated for 9 hours, you could then switch to the other one and leave this one to charge. So technically, it could go on forever. But the same can be said for the AirPods Pro. Now, in order for the sound to sound natural, I actually don't like just a mono sound. I like both, so I can hear the voice like I would in real life, as if the person was there doing the meeting. So I prefer using both. So that hack is not something that I want to do. So the other superpower that I have is the battery life. The battery life, I think there's probably a little bit more battery in this because of the size. Let me switch a view and you can take a look. So here you go. So if you look at this, I think volume wise, the body wise, the UGreen TWS, UGreen HiTune is bigger than the AirPods Pro. All right. You know what? Let's look at the weight. Okay. So I have a weighing scale here. I was actually afraid that this being so bulky would actually weigh more, but you'll be surprised. Turn it on. Okay, this is the AirPods Pro, 5.38 grams, and this is the HiTune, 5.39. Okay, let's centralize it. 5.38, all right, just about there. Now, this difference in weight, I'm just gonna blow on this guy, okay? You see the weight change? Just air movement. So any weight difference at this range is probably going to be imperceptible. You can't really tell the difference in weight. So weight aside, if you're looking at the size, I was actually worried that it might not be well stabilized, right? So I decided to take it out for a spin. I went outdoors. I used it in one of my morning walks. In fact, I think I did it over a span of more than 30 minutes. I will show you the video and you can hear the recording because it has a built-in mic as well. So I was actually using this to record the sound, and you can hear how well it attenuates the sound from the roads or from the cars. Just to give you a quick preview, actually not very well. It still picks up quite a bit of the sound, but again, the superpower I have to talk about, it is 1/10 the price of the AirPods Pro. So a few other differences I want to talk about is the control. On the AirPods Pro, on the control is actually in the stem. So you actually have to press on it, right? You squeeze it, squeeze the stem to control, right? Once to pause, twice to, I can't remember how I use it, but you know, there's no volume control on this. And for this HiTunes, okay, there is also no volume control on it. And the whole capacitive surface of this earpiece is actually touch capacitive. So one tap, it will play or pause. 2 taps, it will skip forward. 3 taps, it will skip backwards. 4 taps, it will turn on super bass or normal bass, which, well, the super bass is just simply superb. I'll talk about the sound just before I cut over to my outdoor scenes. Okay, so the AirPods Pro also has active noise cancelling, whereas the UGreen TWS has no such thing, but it does a pretty good job of cutting out the noise using 2 things. One is passive noise cancellation, because the seal is actually very, very decent, very good seal. And it has a Qualcomm chip inside, which actually uses software to cut down on the amount of noise that is being filtered to your ear. But still, it doesn't make use of mic. It doesn't apply any algorithm to actually cancel out the sound from external sources. The other thing I enjoy about the AirPods Pro is the transparency mode. So transparency mode allows me to be aware of the surrounding, and voice actually comes across as super, super natural. So if I'm in a call with someone online in a meeting, the sound actually comes across as very, very clear, very natural. But it works well for speech. It doesn't really, I don't really like it for music. So the other feature of this guy, which is contentious on whether music lovers would like it or not, is the spatial audio. So spatial audio, to experience it on the AirPods Pro, is really quite amazing. You turn your head and the sound is going to be coming from specific direction. Of course, it requires the material that you are watching to be encoded in the spatial audio format. But you can get some of those clips, I think, on Apple TV Plus, and they do have some of those clips that are already encoded. Not to mention that Apple Music is coming out with Atmos support for those Atmos supported tracks, and with that, I think it will take the performance to yet another level. But now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is no longer about the AirPods Pro. It is about the UGreen HiTune TWS earbuds. The sound is phenomenal. The bass coming out from this guy is really amazing. So much so that if you try to ask me to describe how this sounds like, it sounds like a pair of bookshelf speakers. Okay, maybe the treble, the tweeters are not very well tuned, either overpowered or underpowered, but just not well matched for the treble. But the bass, it really sounds like there is a subwoofer in this configuration, right? I have a couple of tracks which I use to test earphones, earpiece, headphones, speakers, and let me just link it. I think I will have the link put up here, and you can listen to the tracks that I use to test these guys. The track is actually all on Spotify, and one track I'm going to pay special attention to is this from Bassotronic. All right, it's called Bass I Love You. So this particular track, I used it when I was a couple of years back. I was testing my speakers. A lot of hi-fi car audio enthusiasts, they actually use this track as well. If you search on YouTube, you'll see some of them demoing their insane car setup with all the subwoofers and all the amps using this. And I started doing some testing on this track on my home equipment. A couple of years ago, I had a Mission speaker. It's the LX2, if I'm not mistaken. I have some videos which I captured in slow motion. I'm going to just show it up here. Now, if you look at the cone motion, that is the cone motion in slow motion. I captured it, so it slowed down to about 10 times. Now, at some of the lower frequency passages, you can actually see the cone move in and out visually, right? By eyes alone, you can observe it. I slowed it down so that you can see it more clearly, but that is the song, you see. And when you hear bass passages that are that low, you don't always just hear it, you feel it. You feel it in your guts, you feel it, in the chest, and there's a thump and there's a reverb that goes like, it's very, very hard to describe. But let me cue you to the 11-second mark on this track, all right? Bass I Love You, and the 2-minute 43. Now, at the 11-second mark, okay, that's when the first bass note starts kicking in. You should be like, wow, like, a little bit taken aback on how forceful that bass note is. Assuming your system is set up, assuming your earphones, your headphones are giving you that kick. Now, this gave me that. The AirPods Pro, it could not deliver that. Or rather, if you have a good seal, right, it should deliver that. I've heard it before on the AirPods Pro. It's just that it is so hard to get a good seal nowadays. But on the UGreen HiTune TWS earbuds, I heard that, and I've been using this for a couple of days now, and the bass is still stunning. It's stunning. My God, it's just great. Now, and then I cue you to the segment at 2 minutes 43 seconds. Now, there are a couple of bass drop notes there. If you are not using a good enough system and is not able to resolve that low frequency at a high enough volume, you're going to be missing those bass notes, right? You won't hear the bass drops. And those at 243 as opposed to the 11-second mark, those are a lot more subtle, right? So you won't be able to hear it unless your system is resolving enough and is able to throw out that note to hit you in the face. Now, well, of course, it can't hit me in the face because it's just in the ear, right? But with the UGreen HiTune, I actually can feel it. And I kept listening to that part because it is so satisfying to hear the bass drop, to hear it kick in and send the reverb, which actually sounds like they are subwoofer in this guy. I'm so bloody amazed and so bloody impressed with this guy that just costs $30 US. And on top of that, the 30% discount coupons. For those of you who are based in Singapore, for the viewers who are viewing this in Singapore, I will include either the Lazada link or the Shopee link. You can go take a look, and that is a UGreen official store. Now, a word about UGreen. And by the way, this is not a paid advertisement, right? UGreen didn't pay me for anything to do with this. They did send me this, but anything I wanted to say, I warned them before that I will say it as it is. If it is not good, it is not good. And they accepted the terms. I did not accept any form of compensation from them for this. Now, I use a lot of UGreen stuff. If you, this is my TV, it's a bit dark here, you can't see it. This is an LG CX connected to the Sonos Arc. Okay, I use a UGreen HDMI 2.1 cable, and basically my whole house, right? Including the Ethernet cable, including the HDMI cables, including power cable, chargers, 10,000. I have, okay, sorry, 10,000 is a bit of an exaggeration, but I won't exaggerate. I have probably 100 odd items from UGreen, and I trust UGreen as a brand. It's just that I never considered their earbuds because, I'm such a snob, right? Using Apple Airpods Pro, using the Bose, using the Sony WH-1000. It's like, God. So I never considered these guys because they are cheap. But the bass on this guy, I'm still mind blown. It is truly, truly amazing. If you got a couple of tens of dollars to spare, do yourself a favor, try it. It is really good. Now, one thing to know, okay? And this is a sound signature that may not be for everyone. Okay, I love bass. I love that kind of palpable bass that is being presented, that comes across like there is a subwoofer. And the music I listen to may be biased, may favor a heavy bass performance more. And I did realize that the treble on these earbuds, they are a little bit harsh. Okay. Now I'm trying to avoid all those adjectives that a lot of audiophiles they use because, what is harsh, what is this, how do you describe it? So that's why I do a lot of testing and I do a lot of measurements. But unfortunately today I can't do the measurement because I don't know how to measure from the frequency output from these things which are so small with such a small drivers. But I'll just tell you, the treble is a little bit harsh. It is a bit too sharp. And how I can describe it is that when there is a vocal, say a female vocal, and there's a s sound, right? Like s or s or something that ends off with sharp pitch, it's gonna come across with a lot of sibilance, right? And that can get a little bit irritating. So if you're heavy into vocals, my suggestion is if you have a trial period, try it out because I can't record it even to show you how it sounds like, but it might irritate you to a little bit on that front. But otherwise, I let the bass performance take over from here. I'm not going to replace the AirPods Pro in terms of my meetings, because I think the AirPods Pro, they still work pretty well in terms of presented a human voice. Okay, this one for music, for bass music, for bassy tracks, I think they are really, really great. I started listening back to a lot of things, including the Diva song from Fifth Element. And there's a specific segments where they are very quiet and you will hear someone in the audience cough, and this thing resolves it. It is just bloody amazing. I don't understand why something that costs $20 over is capable of resolving that. And talk about the wireless part, right? These are TWS. TWS stands for True Wireless Stereo. True Wireless Stereo meaning you say it has to maintain a wireless connection between the left and the right, and on top of that to the device that is playing, which is in this case your phone, right? Pairing these guys, you just open it out of the case. If it doesn't detect a Bluetooth connection, it will start itself in pairing mode, and then you just add it into your phone. Very, very easy. But still not as easy as the AirPods Pro, where it is all fully integrated into an iOS device. You flip it open, it detects the graphics comes out, you just click, and then all your Apple device that is signed into the same Apple account is going to be able to register that easily. Straight away, it pairs with all the devices. So in terms of usability, the AirPods Pro is there. This guy, it doesn't even come with software, so there's nothing for you to set. They have a super bass mode, which you activate by quadruple tapping the surface here, or you deactivate, and that is all the EQ that you can set on these guys. Oh gosh, I realized I have been gushing about this guy so much that I might have not left enough time for my outdoor walk. So let's cut over to the outdoor walk, and you can hear my comments, my feeling, my thoughts on these guys, how they perform outdoors. Go. Hey guys, so this is a test of the UGreen HiTune earpiece, and these earbuds are True Wireless Stereo. I'm now outside. The road is right next to me. There aren't many cars, as you can see, because it's still early in the morning, and I'm just out for my morning walk. So not many cars around, not many people either. So I'm just trying to figure out if the recording of this, apparently it is supposed to help with cutting out the noise. The Qualcomm chip inside is supposed to help clean up the sound a little bit, and the mics both inside and outside of the earpiece is supposed to help with the sound. So I want to hear whether the recording is clean and if the sound is good. I'm just recording with a pairing from my earpiece here to the iPhone 12 mini that I'm using. So I am right next to the main road now. Okay, there will be quite a few cars that are going to be passing or zooming past me. I've heard the recording from the earlier clips that I've recorded, and it does seem that it picks up quite a bit of the background sound with the cars zooming past. So if that's the case, it might not be ideal, but at the very least we are talking about my voice being heard pretty clearly above the din of the road. So this is a good test. I'm crossing the lights now before the cars, so let's hear. So I like to use the AirPods Pros in walks like this because the transparency mode allows me to have a awareness of the surroundings, so I can hear the cars, I can hear pedestrians or even cyclists, you know, as they walk past. But it kind of blocks everything out with its passive noise cancellation, so I feel very isolated. But the good thing is the fit is actually pretty secure and it's not slipping out, as opposed to the AirPods Pro, which over time has prevented a good seal because the silicone is getting old. I guess I could solve that by just replacing the silicone seal. So it has been about 30 minutes since I started walking, so there's a slight sweating, slight
perspiration, and at no point in time in my 30 minutes has these UGreen HiTune earpiece needed to be adjusted. Okay, there was no need to adjust them, to reseat them, and the seal is still good. So as you know, this kind of earbuds where it depends on a good seal to get great bass response, it is actually very important. Again, this is a recording done directly using the mics on the UGreen HiTune. Initially, I was actually worried that these earbuds could be too big and too heavy, which will cause them to sag and get dislodged. But so far, it hasn't panned out. They come with 3 different sizes to fit your ear. So I used the stock one that was installed right on, and it has stayed there very well. So how these TWS earbuds work, right, is that it requires a wireless connection between the left and the right earpiece, as well as a connection to the device that is recording or playing any music. So it has 2 wireless jobs, and so far I have not had any problem. The left earpiece that I'm wearing is the master, so you can use just the left on its own or the right on its own, or use them in stereo pair. And in the last 36 minutes that I've been using them, they have not actually broken any connection at all. So it is good. Connection wise, very stable. Now, if I were to nitpick on these guys, is that if you look at these earbuds, they only have 1 touch capacitive area for control on the left and on the right earbud. So they both work the same: single tap, double tap, triple tap for the play, forward and rewind function, and quadruple tap to turn on super bass or turn off super bass. But you will realize very soon that there's no way you can control volume using these. But the good thing is it has integrated very well with the Apple Watch as well as iPhone, such that if you control volume using the crown, it actually works. So that is more a function of the phone and implementation of a Bluetooth protocol that is working. But otherwise, no physical control for volume on the earbuds itself. Catch you around. See you back at the studio.
Okay, so now we are back to the studio. You can tell that the noise cancellation is not great on these guys, but when I was using it outdoor, it does block away the sound. There's no transparency mode to talk about, so be careful when you're using this. Make sure that you are using it under safe conditions, but otherwise the sound performance when you're outdoor is great. It does block out some of the external sound so that you don't hear it and you don't have to compete with the external sound by raising the volumes on this guy. And it is loud. It is much louder than the AirPods Pro that I was using. The weight was still okay. The fit was still great. There wasn't connection that was lost. It is amazing. So do check it out. If you are in the market looking for something cheap, okay, check out this pair with the superpower of being 1/10 the price of the AirPods Pro. Sound quality is great. The bass is deep and truly overwhelmingly deep, and it doesn't break up. So again, go check out the link. I have linked my songs, the songs that I used to test all my audio equipment, and a lot of them are bass heavy, so you can hear how capable these guys are gonna be. So thank you for staying with me today. I think I found my favorite piece. I have a motto that I have lived by, and some of my friends might remember me for saying this, but I always think, buy cheap, buy twice, right? If you want to save money and you don't want to go for the best, you're trying to save a bit, right? You buy something that's cheaper. And why you buy twice? Because ultimately you want the good stuff and you end up having to buy it again. So just go for the great stuff right away, because buy cheap means buy twice. But this, you can buy cheap and you can buy them 10 times. And the cheap, you're not really compromising a lot. Software, yes. Usability, not the best, but the sound. Okay, there I go again. I'm repeating the whole drill. The sound is great. I'll see you in my next episode.